Hello everyone! I've been gone a long time, but I'm hoping that I can be more consistent now. But I just had to come back for October. I love October and horror and everything Halloween, so I had to give you my TBR. This is kind of an ambitious TBR, especially for me and how I've been reading lately, because I'm in a reading slump. But I'm hoping, because it's my favorite time of year, that it'll just push me to read these books and I'll read them all. The first book I want to read is The Woods is Always Watching by Stephanie Perkins. This is a YA thriller novel about two best friends, Nina and Josie, who just graduated from high school, and before they go off to college in different areas, they wanted to do something special. So they decide to take a 3-day hike deep into the woods. And of course, terrifying things happen. I've read Stephanie Perkins' other YA thriller book, and I really enjoyed that. It's very, these books aren't something great and spectacular. There isn't like a big reveal or anything. I was just entertained. It reminded me of like the 90s teen horror films where they aren't the best, but you're entertained, so they're good. That's how I feel about her book, and this one has the same vibe as that one. So if you're like a big horror fan and you're very particular, probably this book isn't for you. But if you enjoy campy horror books, I suggest this. And if you want something that's not too scary, but you still kind of want to get in the mood, I suggest her. So I'm hoping this book won't let me down and I'll be just as entertained. The second book is Fear Street by R.L. Stine. I want to read the first 4 books in this series. This series was first written in 1989, and it takes place in a fictional town of Shadyside on the street Fear Street. It's named after one of the oldest members there or something like that. I don't know. This series is like a little bit mature version of Goosebumps. And I liked Goosebumps when I was a kid. And sadly, I never got into the series when I was younger. But I'm curious about it. And like I said, I like campy horror. The next book is The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. This is about Lynette, who is a real-life survivor girl. 22 years ago, she survived a massacre. And for over a decade, she has been meeting with other women who went through a similar thing. So their therapist is there, and it has been really helping until one of the girls goes missing. I'm a big fan of Grady Hendrix novels. I really enjoy them, and I really like the trope Final Girl. I know it's done a lot, but I still enjoy it. So I am excited to read this book. The next book is Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. This is a horror novel about Maggie Holt, who 25 years ago, her and her parents move into like a Victorian house, and they only lasted 3 weeks there until they fled. And later her father writes a book about what occurred during their time in that house. So it's kind of like Amityville horror type thing. And now Maggie is grown up. She does not remember anything about the events that her dad wrote in the book. In fact, she believes he made it up, as do a lot of people. And after her father dies, she inherits the house, and so she decides to go back to renovate it, to sell it. And of course, her dad wasn't lying. That's what I'm getting from it. And I really am curious because they mention the mom in the beginning, but then nothing in the description. So I'm curious of like, did the mom die in the house? Like, what happened? And I'm a big fan of Riley Sager's books. They are not like the best thriller books out there, but I enjoy them. So I'll continue reading the books that he puts out. The next book I want to read is The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. This is a horror book about 4 Native American men who are being tracked by this entity who seeks revenge. I've heard really good things about this book, and at first I was a little skeptical, but then I saw that the author is Native American himself, and so that made me want to read it more, because sometimes white authors, use someone else's culture in a story, and so some of their facts is not correct, or it's kind of offensive, but this gives me more hope since he is actually Native American. And that makes me want to read even more, because I've never read of like a book about like Native horrors. So because he says that he used traditions and customs, and so makes me want to read even more. And the last book I want to read is Salem's Lot by Stephen King. This is a horror novel about Ben Mears, who returns to his childhood town, Jerusalem's Lot, and he discovers that the residents are becoming vampires. I kind of want to read all of Stephen King's books, and I'm starting with like the most popular ones, and I've heard this book a lot being recommended, and so I really want to read this book, because I know Stephen King is like a hit and miss, and so I just want to right now stick to his most popular ones. So those are all the books that I hope to read in the month of October. Let me know what you are reading, because I'm always seeking new horror books or mystery books. So let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye!